This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good morning. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. The weather was fantastic.
It was, and this morning it's even a bit chilly. I had to grab a sweatshirt as I was heading out the door.
That's why I put on long sleeves today.
Smart.
This is rare air for this time of year. Typically, we're not starting out in the 40s this early in September. It's typically after we actually start fall here. But guys, we are going to see those temperatures this afternoon get back into the upper 70s. So there is a little bit of relief from this cool air waiting in the wings here. I want to show you this live SkyTrack camera image from downtown Louisville looking west at the pre-sunset view or sunrise view here. I typically work the other side of the clock, so it's all about sunset. How about sunrise this morning? You'll see those 40s outside the city. Salem, Jeffersonville, 46 degrees. Hello, Fort Knox. You're at 51. Woo! This is a cool start to our day. Almost record low temperatures for us here this morning. Things are quiet across all 34 counties and the two states that we serve, Kentucky and southern Indiana. It's all thanks to high pressure that's anchored across parts of the Midwest and especially Michigan here. That's helping to drill some of this cooler air in here and keep it there for just a bit longer. Here's your forecast for the next 12 hours. You'll see those temperatures getting back up to 78 degrees 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. And we do fall back to about 70 by 8 o'clock this evening. So while you need the jackets and the pants this morning, it'll be shorts and t-shirts weather for a very short time as we head throughout the afternoon. Coming up in your 10-day earliest alert, we've got a few more cool mornings coming our way, but that summer air does return. There's not much rain in the forecast. At least there's a rain chance, right? We'll show that to you coming up in the 10-day earliest alert in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you. And we're staying on top of this breaking news. One man is killed and another in the hospital after an overnight shooting in Louisville. It happened early this morning on Noreen Lane near Poplar Level Road. Police say the two men were shot just before 4 a.m. and one man died after being taken to the hospital. His name has not yet been released. Police say the other person is expected to survive. Police have not made any arrests. Cigna and Norton Healthcare now have more time to reach a new deal to keep patients in network.
The contract between the two was set to expire today, but the extension moves that date to October 8th. Norton has said Cigna made the decision to end the contract, despite the health system saying it did its best to find a solution. But a Cigna spokesperson sent us a statement saying the opposite. Norton says it will care for patients who have Cigna policies for now, but if a new deal isn't made, patients with Cigna will be considered out of network. Norton says it will offer financial assistance for qualifying families, as well as learn more about the next steps for patients who are getting oncology, pediatric, and prenatal care.
Louisville fire officials and arson investigators are looking into a house fire over the weekend. It started just after 5 last night on June Drive, south of Fairdale. When our crews arrived, there were fire trucks and LMPD cars on the scene. Police say everyone got out of the house, but didn't let us know how they're doing. Metro Arson is now investigating, and they haven't provided any additional details yet. A person is dead after a truck hit them near Iroquois Park. It happened just after 3 Sunday morning at the intersection of Palatka and Manslick Road. Police think the truck was going northbound on St. Andrew's Church Road when it then turned into the intersection and hit a person walking. Investigators say that person had on dark clothing and was not in the crosswalk. They died at the scene. Police say the driver stopped and waited for first responders to arrive.
LMPD is still looking for a person they believe is connected to a shooting last week near Central High School that caused a scare at a soccer game. Take a look at your screen here. Police need help identifying this man. August 26th, that shooting happened on Congress Street. That's near Central High School, and it led to a temporary lockdown and shelter in place for those in the area. Police found a man who had been shot in the knee. These pictures were taken from a nearby surveillance camera. Police point out the person has a noticeable gap in his teeth and a neck tattoo. If you know who this man is, you're asked to call police. Louisville Metro Police looking for a group of people who broke into a home with guns.
And a homeowner said that they claimed to be with the police department. It happened Friday night in the Highview neighborhood. A neighbor says she was just about to go to sleep and heard more than a dozen gunshots, and they were coming from down the street, where a person said 5 masked people forced their way into her home claiming to be with LMPD. She says they demanded money and then fired off several shots before driving off. Some of those bullets hit her house. People in the area are rattled.
It came to the point where it was so loud that I thought, should I shelter my family or my grandson? There's tons of kids in this neighborhood, tons of kids. And it's not fair to them.
LMPD has not made any arrests in connection to this incident.
Looking ahead, you could soon meet the group responsible for overseeing reforms in the Louisville Metro Police Department. The Louisville Metro Office of Equity is holding a public meeting where people will get to hear from the finalists applying to serve as the city's independent monitor. The meeting will be at the Republic Bank Foundation YMCA next Monday from 6 to 7:30. While the federal consent decree levied on the department was dismissed this year, the mayor and police chief Paul Humphrey both promised reform would continue. An independent monitor will track the progress of the consent decree.
Kentucky state leaders are working to make sure police officers are properly protected while on the job. State officials say nearly 20% of officers across the state were without body armor, but through the fairly new Body Armor Grant Program, the number has been lowered to just 1%. Attorney General Russell Coleman says nearly 2,000 officers have been approved to get the body armor. Coleman said this program is personal for him as a former FBI agent, and it goes beyond that.
He said, but I want you to know something. This body armor that I'm wearing, it's expired. We can't afford to buy new armor. We wear the best that we can. I just want you to know it's an issue. What can you do about it? And as elected leaders, it's our job to do a lot more listening than we do talking.
Coleman says phase 1 of the project was to get officers soft armor, and phase 2 will be for harder equipment such as helmets, plates, and shields for school resource officers. It's been the location for so many festivals, concerts, and other cultural events in downtown Louisville since the 1970s, and now there's a new chapter about to begin for the Belvedere.
Starting tonight, a series of public meetings will kick off to gather input on how the site could be redeveloped, including conceptual plans for an updated public space. WAVE News reporter Rob Wells is here with the details. Rob.
Yeah, and Olivia, the Belvedere is an elevated event space located on the riverfront between 4th and 6th Streets in downtown Louisville, with the main entrance at 5th and Main Streets. It's made up of 7 acres of multi-use space with open lawns that are suitable for festivals, even big concerts. The Belvedere is the backyard of the Kentucky Center, and a long overdue makeover is expected to build on future success. The city continues to seek public input on recreational and commercial uses and says that the meetings, which kick off tonight, hopefully will help. The site, though, according to those working on the big project, needs to undergo major renovations, and that includes improving busted and broken infrastructure like damaged concrete and barrier walls.
These upcoming public listening sessions will be an opportunity for me to present what I've learned throughout my travels and research and what I think would work at the Belvedere, and to really get input on what the public wants to see. Are these the same types of activities and amenities that they would come down to the Belvedere to use and enjoy?
The Belvedere itself, managed by Louisville Parks and Recreation, the first meeting for the space coming up tonight at 6 p.m. at the Iroquois Library. That's on Woodlawn Avenue. There's also one tomorrow evening at the Northeast Regional Library. Funding for that project would come from both public and private entities. Officials telling me that money's already been set aside for the multi-million-dollar project from city and state funds. The meeting, of course, open to anybody who has ideas and certainly questions about improving this part of downtown. Back to you.
It's going to be neat to see that transform, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Bourbon and Beyond is back this week with some new changes this year.
We'll help you get prepared for what to expect for the 4-day music festival.
President Donald Trump has signaled he is ready to move to the second phase of sanctions against Russia. Last week, Ukraine's president stressed the importance of ratcheting up pressure on Moscow and all countries who trade with them. President Trump has repeatedly expressed his frustration with the lack of progress towards peace and is contemplating how involved he should be in personally brokering a meeting between the two warring countries. And President Trump's expected to decide if he'll send National Guard members into Chicago this week. The president says it's part of a crackdown on illegal immigration and violent crime. The White House says it's been moving immigration enforcement personnel into the city. Democratic city and state leaders have pushed back on using the National Guard, saying it would only lead to more instability in Chicago. Several suggest federal partnerships to reduce gun violence and hire more police officers.
Right now, crews are getting the fairgrounds ready to host hundreds of thousands of music fans. Bourbon and Beyond kicks off this week. The biggest change coming this year is that the festival has been moved from the Highlands Festival grounds to the fairgrounds. Organizers hope it cuts down on noise complaints and traffic problems. To get into the Expo Center, you'll want to use Preston Highway to Gate 6 or Crittenden Drive to Gate 4. And if you're taking an Uber or Lyft there, you'll need to be dropped off at the entrance off Crittenden near Cracker Barrel. Bourbon and Beyond and Louder Than Life will play back-to-back weekends starting this Thursday. A group of talented local vocalists is taking their act around the world. The Louisville Chamber Choir was invited to perform at an international festival in South Korea later this month. They had a special send-off concert where they gave people in town a taste of what the entire globe will soon be hearing. While this is the first time the Chamber Choir is leaving the country, many of the members are seasoned vets. Many of them have actually been part of the Cardinal Singers group with U of L and have made 6 trips to Korea.
And they know a little bit about Louisville's choral music scene as well. So there's a bit of reputation there, but this choir hasn't traveled internationally before.
The Louisville Chamber Choir will be performing abroad in about 10 days. But right now, this great weather we have.
I know, Ryan.
This is some great stuff. You know, we had a great fall weekend. And if you are missing summer-like weather, you're going to like this forecast. Let's check it out now. You'll notice that as we go through time here, we've got temperatures going up. A big warm-up takes us back into the 90-degree territory as we head toward the latter part of this week. Let's show it to you now. Today's high temperature, mid to upper 70s, depending on your location. 78 here in Louisville. Some lower 70s up toward North Vernon, 73 up there today. And hello, Hardinsburg, you've got 77 on the map for this afternoon. It's cool this morning, of course, starting out in the 40s and 50s. This cool start to the week will be eclipsed by this warmth as we see it build across the central part of the nation as a ridge of high pressure meanders over the plains and eventually influences our weather enough to get us near 90 degrees by Friday afternoon and potentially by Saturday as well. So let's take a ride on the temperature roller coaster. The incline gets us up to 84 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday, 87. We're in the upper 80s by Thursday. This is shorts and T-shirts weather. And by Friday, we're at 90 degrees. By the way, our average last 90-degree day here in Louisville for the year is September 12th, so none of this is atypical. Let's get you outside right now with our SkyTrack camera, and you'll see, of course, downtown looking pretty good, at least looking west from downtown, where we've got some of those beautiful colors in the sky this morning. 51 degrees, current temperature here in Louisville. Look at all these 40s. Holy cow. We're talking about Hardinsburg being the cool spot now. 41 degrees. You know, there's this phenomenon where you've got a little bit of a cool air sink in Breckenridge and Meade counties. We see this time and again where Meade and Breckenridge are typically some of the coolest places that we have all across wave country. And this morning, that phenomenon seems to be happening with Hardinsburg being at that 41 degree temperature, easily the coolest we'll likely see this morning here in our area. High pressure over the Great Lakes is providing us with the sunshine and the cool air this morning. And eventually, we will see those temperatures getting back up to around 78 degrees by this afternoon. Sunshiny, pleasant day for us here. Tonight, we're cool again. Make sure you've got the jackets ready for tomorrow morning because you're going to need them there. Hoodies, fleece, flannel, what have you here. 53 degrees as we start our day tomorrow. 47 degrees, as cool as it will get outside the city. Maybe a few folks in the mid to even lower 40s in some isolated locations here. The 10-day earliest alert now on your screen shows us, of course, temperatures getting up close to 90 degrees, just in time for so many of these festivals going on. Big festival weekend last weekend. This weekend will be no different. We've got Bourbon and Beyond at the Kentucky Expo Center there. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s during the afternoons, near 90 degrees. Plenty of sunshine and pretty much dry weather all the way around. The only day we'll have to watch here is Sunday. There could be a few sneaky storms late Sunday night. We'll see how that goes. It's not a lock at this point. By Friday, we're up to 90 degrees. Saturday, same story. If you're looking for those rain chances, we did allude to them there. That is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday here. It's all because of a front that's going to try to drop down out of Canada and give us a run for our money with some storm chances. Right now, it's just a 20% storm chance. We'll see if we have enough moisture and if this front makes it far enough south to really give us a decent round of storms like Futurecast is trying to peg here. That would be some good news. Some folks got missed by the rain last week. We had a couple rounds of it here, and let's hope that we can get those folks some of that much needed rain, guys.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. Well, this is a good week. You know why? It's Louisville Wing Week. It is back.
And Wing Week, probably my favorite out of all the specialty weeks
Right.
that we have with the food. And this year, more than 20 restaurants are participating. My music reporter Kirsten Flood joining us live this morning. And, ooh, there they are, Kirsten.
Hello, guys. It's Chef Kirsten reporting for duty for Louisville Wing Week right now. It's back. It's starting this week. I'm back here at Rubby's with Scott Cox. And Scott, we are in the finishing process of cooking up some wings here. We don't have enough time to show you the whole process because you told me it's 3 hours. It takes 3 hours. So we'll just show you the finishing process here. What do we have going on here with these wings?
Okay, so what we do is we smoke them for close to 3 hours with hickory wood, and then after we get done with that, then when you get an order of them, we're going to finish them off on the grill. And this is going to add a little bit of that nice char you're seeing on those wings right there that Kristen's doing. Is that's going to be the finishing process. It's going to bring out those flavors in that rub, crisp them up a little bit, and make them nice and crispy and toasty and tasty. So,
and then you take them all nice and fancy. This is like my cooking show that I've always wanted. But at home it would really be like peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Let's be real here. So it's Wing Week. Tell me about the deals that y'all have going on.
So Wing Week is going to be 6 wings. We're going to have 3 flats and 3 drums, and it's going to be for $8. That's going to be all through Wing Week, Monday through Friday, starting today, Monday through Sunday.
Fun. And so you guys have been around for over 30 years now. Just how have you seen the wing game change? You know, what's it been like to see? Y'all are kind of the first people to do this like smoke style.
Right. We're one of the early people to do smoke style. We started this a long time ago. My mom came up with this recipe, and I helped her come up with the finishing touches, which you just did. And so we've been doing this for a long time. We were known for our motor oil wings. That's a whole different area we don't have time to cover, but the smoked wings are excellent here. Wings have gotten a whole lot more popular. They've gotten more expensive over the past few years as well. So, unfortunately, but
so this is a great week to get those $8. You know, all this for $8 the entire week at so many different restaurants in Louisville. I feel like it's also a good chance for people to try new things too. So, what's your message for someone who maybe they have their favorite flavor, their favorite restaurant, but this is the week to branch out?
Absolutely. So we have, our smoked wings are considered some of the best in the city from a lot of people. The people that have been here, they love them, and they brag to other people about them a lot of times. So that's how we generate business, is word of mouth with a lot of people. So I urge people, we only have this flavor, and then we have the fried motor oil wings are different flavor, but we don't have like a buffalo or any of that stuff. Everybody has that. This is our own unique thing that we do here.
This is special right here. This is awesome. And you guys also have a Bloody Mary with a chicken wing on it too. That's pretty special too. You're getting your whole meal there, your vegetables, your protein, everything.
We're doing that smoked wing Bloody Mary because with 2 smoked wings on top of it and the wing rub around the rim of the glass. That's $12 for the smoked wing Bloody Mary. Unless you want to choose what kind of vodka you want in there, we've got all kinds of vodkas for you.
Oh man, these are gonna go fast. I hope you got a bunch of wings. I hope you're ready for this entire week.
We have lots of wings, and we're ready for Wing Week. We're ready for you guys to come out and see us out here at Rubby's.
Heck yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll send it back to you guys.
You can smell them cooking, right? Thank you, Kirsten.
Chef Kirsten. And
Right.
they said they have 3 flats and 3 drums, so we can share.
Perfect. Yes.
All right. Well, stick with us. A Louisville organization hits a major milestone of giving.
How they're helping and why it's just the beginning of their work.
Dr. Lynn Reynolds, a lifelong educator with 35 years of experience, has been named the new special assistant to the superintendent of Jefferson County Public Schools. Reynolds currently serves as executive director of Library Media Services, supporting more than 150 library programs. Throughout her career, she's served as a teacher, administrator, and library media specialist. She's also on the board of Imagination Library of Louisville, which Wave News helped bring to the area. She'll begin her new role today.
She is so deserving, just loves children, just incredible. She also can really decorate a Christmas tree really well.
Okay.
A local nonprofit just celebrated a big milestone. This weekend, Love the Hungry gave away their 10 millionth meal. They've been working to prevent hunger by providing nutrient-rich food to people in need since 2012. In those years, they've distributed meals to dozens of countries around the world. The organization says 10 million meals is just the start of their work.
There's simply far too many children in this world that suffer from that lack of nutrition day to day. So our mission is very focused on providing these nutrient-dense meals that we know.
The executive director says every meal package is enough to feed 6 children, and their volunteers can turn out several thousand of them, too, at a time.
Stick with us. We'll have more news and weather coming up here on Sunrise Extra.
This Wave News update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good Good morning. I'm Shannon Kogan. One man is dead and another in the hospital after an early morning shooting in Louisville. Police say 2 men were shot on Noreen Lane near Poplar Level Road just before 4 a.m. One man died after being taken to the hospital. His name has not yet been released. Police say the other person shot is expected to survive. Police have not made any arrests. Let's go to meteorologist Ryan Hoke this morning. And is that nice weather from the weekend going to continue?
Yes, it will. It gets even warmer, though, today. 78 degrees, the high temperature. Overnight tonight, we'll take it down to 53. Another cool night for us with 50s outside the city center. 40s, I should say, 50s here in Louisville. The 10-day earliest alert now popping onto your screen shows us a progressive warming trend Tuesday through Friday here. We get you all the way up to 90 degrees by Friday afternoon. We have to mention this. Bourbon and Beyond, of course, is happening this weekend, and the weather couldn't be better. Make sure you're staying hydrated and wearing sunscreen. Pretty much wall-to-wall sunshine, though we will watch this storm chance Sunday evening as a cold front tries to move through. That cold front right now only has us at a 20% storm chance. As we get closer to time, if the data still shows this, we'll be able to increase that storm chance and decrease some of those temperatures as that cold front moves on through. Now let's go over to Rob Wells with the latest on traffic.
Ryan, thanks so much. Things looking pretty good on your early Monday morning. No major tie-ups to let you know about, but we do have report of police activity. We're talking about 264 West at the Virginia Avenue ramp. Again, some sort of police activity in the area. The right shoulders are completely blocked in that area. So if you're heading around 264 West at Virginia Avenue, that is something to keep in mind. Make it a great Monday morning, everyone.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us here for Sunrise Extra. I'm Olivia Russell. We have a lot to get to this morning, including, of course, our football action that we saw over the weekend. Plus, we'll have a look ahead at what's happening in Washington. But it is a Monday, so that means our background not really going to cooperate. It has a case of the Mondays. We have plenty to get to, though, so just kind of ignore that. First, a video game development group in Louisville is losing its space and is now left to find a new one with a very limited budget. Members say it's part of a trend of local art groups struggling to keep the buildings essential to their work and collaboration. Wave News reporter Julia Richardson has more.
You can expect to be welcomed and included immediately. That's core to who we are.
Now I've got it. Okay, nice.
When you walk into Warp Zone in downtown Louisville, this is what you may see. Members of Louisville Makes Games working and collaborating with one another, whether it's a scheduled meeting or event, or just unstructured time to chat with fellow creators.
Our structure is such that there aren't just a group of people who decide exactly what's going to go on here. We want to invite our whole community to say, if you have an idea for how to engage game developers, please use our space to do that. That's what it's made for.
But recently, they learned the building Warp Zone currently calls home on Main Street was sold to a new owner who is renovating it, which means they will have to find another space at the end of October. They say hearing that news was devastating.
We consider ourselves part of the arts and culture scene in the city. So if we didn't have a space, that wouldn't be true.
And finding a new space may not be easy. The building's previous owner, Fund for the Arts, gave Louisville Makes Games a cheaper price for rent, which has allowed them to make all of their events free and open to the public. Now they say they're prepared to make sacrifices, whether it's charging for events or settling for a smaller space. And they're not the only arts group going through this. As we recently reported, the Art Sanctuary is being priced out of its location and also looking for a new home.
As the price tag rises, it's going to change the nature of what we're able to do to benefit the community, of how much money we're going to have to ask for, of what we can afford to do. And so that is a trend, and it isn't just about video games. It isn't just about art, musical theater, all kinds of performance, everything that Art Sanctuary does. It's not about any one of these things. It's about the community.
But members of Louisville Makes Games say they're not going to give up because they believe their mission is worth fighting for.
Everyone should be allowed to be creative and have a space where they can be creative, and to allow that to happen without the need to worry about how is what you're doing going to raise enough money to justify its existence.
And if you want to help out, you can go learn more over on this story on wave3.com. Reports shared just this year, Kentucky showing to be one of the worst U.S. states in terms of the rates of child abuse. Some advocates fear the trend is getting worse, and 2 recent Metro cases offer a chilling example of violence against kids. One man, 31-year-old Stephen Harris, accused of throwing a gaming controller and hit a 5-week-old baby in the head after an argument with the child's mother. The baby was taken to the hospital with some serious skull fractures and a brain bleed. Then 24-year-old LaRon Gardner was arrested for murder. Police investigated after his 5-year-old son fell and died at the hospital. An arrest citation for Gardner says police believe he pushed the young boy down the stairs after physically assaulting him. The victim's 4-year-old sister also told police Gardner had kicked her in the chest. Terry Brooks, the executive director of Kentucky Youth Advocates, says there is plenty that someone can do to be preventative within their own circles.
Think about where you find yourself and what could your faith community do around this issue? What about that civic club you're in, or just a neighborhood?
Experts say numbers of child abuse cases in Kentucky are already staggering, but there are more that haven't been reported. A pair of Metro Council leaders is inviting neighbors to join them for a second discussion about community violence prevention tonight. Metro Council members Tammy Hawkins and Ken Herndon will be at the meeting today at 6 p.m. at Central High School. They say the main goal is to roll out tangible solutions that make the community safer. Everyone is invited to attend. A group of motorcyclists hope a new event will become a yearly tradition to raise awareness about domestic violence. The first ever Kentucky all-female rides roared through Louisville on Saturday. They started the ride in Okolona before going by Churchill Downs, the U of L campus, and other iconic sites in the city. The event was organized by 3 women who are all survivors of domestic violence and say that most of the riders are too.
We've lost family members. We've been victims ourselves. And sometimes that's hard for the victim to step up and say, I need help. This is to empower people, to bring people together. Hey, you're not alone.
According to a 2023 report from the Kentucky Public Safety Cabinet, 1 in 2 women in the state have experienced domestic violence. The organizers say they were impressed with the turnout and want to make it an annual event. Well, Pride was alive and well in the Highlands over the weekend. The neighborhood hosted the annual Louisville Pride Festival. It featured more than 150 vendors and a bunch of musicians and drag performers. This year's theme was Decades, Resistance, and Hope Through the Years. Organizers say they chose the theme to celebrate the resilience, joy, and strength of the LGBTQ plus community.
It focuses a lot on community, and that's what Pride is really all about. And so it really embraces that part of it.
The festival also had community groups offering free vaccines, HIV support, and substance abuse resources. The Belle of Louisville will end her 2025 cruise season by participating in a historic celebration. The Belle is set to join an event celebrating America's 250th birthday. The iconic steamboat, along with her sister vessel, the Mary M. Miller, will travel 133 river miles north in early October to participate in one of the first official events of the country's 250th anniversary. They'll be joining riverboats from around the country representing the city of Louisville to celebrate the vibrant culture of America's river cities. To celebrate, they're adding a $12 Sunday 1-hour ride and a $15 2-hour cruise. So great experience to get out there and enjoy the beautiful Belle of Louisville. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some meetings that you can give input to help improve Louisville Park. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Next week, you'll have the chance to talk to city leaders about the reimagined 9th Street project. That project is focusing on 9th Street, Roy Wilkins Avenue, Muhammad Ali Boulevard, and the Chestnut Street River Park Drive area. When finished, the area will offer different venues like art displays, new retail businesses, and partnerships for programming. The meeting was rescheduled, so it's now set for September 15th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Beecher Terrace Apartments. And speaking of parks, you'll have the chance to weigh in on future upgrades coming to Klondike Park. JCPS and Metro Council are partnering to make major improvements to the park, including upgrades to the playground. Metro Councilwoman Josie Raymond is asking families to fill out a survey on what they would like to see. Some of the questions revolve around what types of playground equipment, features, and improvements to the park, even ideas for events there. Councilwoman Raymond says the new equipment will be ordered this fall and installed in the spring. The survey closes next Monday, that's September 15th, and you can find a link to that over on our website, wave3.com. This week, President Donald Trump will speak about religious liberty while housing is on display at the National Mall and the nation commemorates a solemn anniversary. Our Washington correspondent, Katrin Asaf, has your week ahead in Washington.
President Donald Trump is set to speak Monday at the Museum of the Bible. The speech, delivered to the Religious Liberty Commission he created, is expected to be on religious freedom and education. Also this week, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development hosts its 2025 Innovative Housing Showcase on the National Mall. The event showcases the latest in innovative and affordable housing, which could increase supply and reduce barriers to construction. That continues through Wednesday, which is also the deadline for Congress to extend President Trump's federal takeover of D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department. As part of his administration's crackdown on crime in the nation's capital, the president put the police force under federal control last month. However, the law only allows him to do so for 30 days without congressional approval. And Thursday marks 24 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks. President Trump will be in New York City to mark the occasion, which may also include a visit to Thursday's Yankees game. That's your week ahead in Washington. I'm Katrin Asaf.
More people are registering to vote in the state of Kentucky, and Secretary of State Michael Adams announced voter registration grew in August. Kentuckians registering under other political affiliations have outpaced Republican and Democratic voters for the 6th month in a row. That number jumped by nearly 2,000, marking an increase of more than 0.5%. Just a few days ago, Kentucky Educational Television announced they had laid off 15 employees due to federal funding losses. The company says it's reducing 22% of its staff by removing 36 positions. It comes after President Trump signed a $9 billion spending package into law, which included cuts to funding for public broadcasting. Reporter Maggie Rickerby shows us the impact of those cuts as she sits down with one of the employees who was laid off.
I kind of knew it was coming. Like I knew something was coming.
Back in July, President Trump signed a $9 billion rescission package into law. It slashed close to $1 billion in funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Public media is so important because it's truly, truly independent. We owe nothing to anyone but the public itself.
Now, 15 employees at KET here in Lexington have lost their jobs. Blake Vickers is one of the 15 who were laid off. He worked on KET's nightly news program for 2 years, but once the rescission package started to move forward in the House and Senate,
all of us really were left in suspense. We'd get an email occasionally from the executive branch people like, hey, it's really bad. This is a game changer, but thank you for your loyalty and for working. But otherwise, it was just, we were in the dark.
When the day Vickers was dreading finally came, he realized he was on the chopping block.
I'll miss this job more than life itself, but I'm going to be okay. I've got a roof over my head. I'm not going to go hungry. Got prospects, but I just don't know if that's going to be the case for everybody.
In a news release, KET says it is a sad but unavoidable situation for their team. But they say they will remain committed to serving Kentuckians across the Commonwealth. Vickers says KET is not the one to blame.
If the rescissions package didn't exist, I would still have my job.
It's news that has grabbed the attention of Governor Beshear. He spoke out during his weekly Team Kentucky updates.
After a bipartisan agreement of we'll fund this and we'll fund that, coming back, if you think you have the votes, and undoing that agreement and deciding that you're going to target public media. I hope everybody sees what it is, what it means, and who did it, because I believe in accountability.
While Vickers is no longer at KET, he says folks can continue to support public media by watching their programs and donating funds. In Lexington, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.
I kind of knew it was coming.
In Indiana, a group of concerned citizens got together to talk about how New Albany spends public dollars. The group, Hoosier Action, hosted what they called Our City, Our Funds community meeting. Their goal was to discuss the 2026 city budget and call for more transparency, accountability, and investment in the people. What city councilors attended as well to answer some questions. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back with your sports headlines coming up in just 2 minutes. It's September, and that means music fans are about to take over the Kentucky Expo Center this week. Bourbon and Beyond starts on Thursday. The 4-day music festival will have more than 100 artists performing live on 5 music stages. The biggest change coming this year is the festival has been moved from the Highlands Festival grounds to the fairgrounds. Organizers hope it cuts down on noise complaints and traffic problems. Music fans will also be able to get into Kentucky Kingdom this year with their festival passes. They'll have plenty of opportunities to ride some rides, too. And Bourbon and Beyond is returning this week. The organizers behind the festival are also making a new investment in their student athletes at U of L. The school's athletic department announced a partnership with Danny Wimmer Presents to advance name, image, and likeness, or NIL opportunities. The business has committed $1 million over the next 10 years. The college says that money will let students collaborate with Danny Wimmer through social campaigns, community events, and more. Once again, Bourbon and Beyond starts on Thursday. It goes until Sunday. And then the following Thursday, it's Louder Than Life. Well, last weekend was a start to the college football season, but this weekend was the time for the NFL in the spotlight. And last night, right here on Wave, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens took on reigning MVP Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. After the Bills scored on the opening drive, it was all Ravens from there. They took a 7-point lead into the half and extended it to 15 with just under 12 minutes left in the game. But that's when the tide turned. The Bills scored to cut the lead to 8 with just under 4 minutes. Then a Ravens fumble leads to another Bills touchdown. That took the lead to just 2. Then, as time expired, the Bills walk it off with a game-winning field goal. They win it 41-40. Go Bills. A team a little closer to home had yet another week 1 scare. The Cincinnati Bengals traveled to take on divisional rival, the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals able to get the first points on the board, scoring halfway through the first quarter, and took a 4-point lead into halftime. After only having 7 yards of offense in all of the second half, the Bengals kicked a go-ahead field goal with 3 minutes left in the game, proving to be just enough. The Bengals start the season with a win, also by 1 point. This final score 17-16. And of course, we've made a small dent into the college football season. U of L winning on Friday over JMU. The Cats taking a dent to their record on Saturday, falling to Ole Miss 30-23. Head coach Mark Stoops, however, saying he was impressed by the way his defense took care of business.
You know that going in playing them, that they thrive off of, explosives. And I really think we did a really good job for the majority of plays. And then you take however many explosives they have, and it's the difference in the game. But, that's kind of who they are.
The Cats will be back at home Saturday when they host Eastern Michigan. As for IU, coming off a poor performance in week 1, they cranked it up a gear against the Owls of Kennesaw State, dominating 56-9 final score there. Head coach Kurt Zignetti saying the performance was up to the standard the team set for themselves.
But we took a step forward, the step we needed to take. Probably most pleased with the way we dominated the second half. We got off to a fast start in the game and sort of bumbled around in the second quarter a little bit. And so it was a 15-point game at halftime, but we outscored them in the second half. And it was good to empty the bench.
Bumbled around. That's a new phrase. I'm going to steal that one. The Hoosiers have a short week. They host Indiana State on Friday. But the third week of high school football season has come and gone. That means it's your time to vote on our Touchdown Friday Night Player of the Week. And we have some great nominees. Those include Tyler Crenshaw of Bullitt Central, Christian Grayson of Charlestown, Marlon Harbin III out of St. X, Sebastian Robertson from Floyd Central, and LaRon Westmoreland, who plays for J-Town. The polls are open right now, so get out there and vote, and then catch week 4 of Touchdown Friday Night to find out who the winner is. We've already seen some great performances, great football happening here in Wave Country. That's all the time we have here for Wave Sunrise Extra. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you have a great Monday.